Welcome to the MoxStars podcast. I am Menace, one of your hosts, and I'm here with Flash. What's up, dude?
What is up?
How the heck are
What's
you?
up, man? I'm doing great. How are you?
Fan freaking tastic. There's honestly not not a lot on the news for Magic the Gathering, but there's still plenty to talk about here on the MoxStars podcast, the number one podcast for Magic the Gathering and Dr. Pepper and Don Cheadle and the Dyson Bladeless fan. And we still have yet to hear back from James Marsden's people, but there's so much going on out in the world. I figured, we're gonna find something to dive into today. Any ideas?
Magic the Gathering or Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay. Well, let me check for Dr. Pepper news. It's still the best soda in the universe. The news never changes with Dr. Pepper unless there's a new flavor coming out, which I haven't quite seen the announcement for, their fall, whatever's coming out in the fall this year. They'd usually do some sort of crazy flavor in the second half of the year. We got blackberry to start. We need a follow-up to that. Follow-up to greatness. But this week on the MoxStars podcast, I want to dive back into cEDH a little bit. We're going to cover one of the most exciting new decks in the format, Kefka, Court Mage. And before we get into that, just wanted to remind everybody that the MTG release schedule does not have Avatar: The Last Airbender on the next thing. It's not the next set. It's actually SpiderMan. So, SpiderMan's coming out, and there are actually a few cards like here, just to remind everyone that, hey, this set is still coming out, and it's still worthy of your attention in some ways. That the cards that I didn't talk about when we first did our little conversation about it, a month ago now, it feels like. But there are some cards, we didn't talk about the Soul Stone. We didn't talk about things like the Multiversal Passage, which is a land that might actually be good enough for Commander. Not for cEDH, but maybe for Commander. And then, So let's read a couple cards and see if they're playable, even, or even fun to build around. So first, we do have to talk about the Soul Stone. This is 1 in a black legendary artifact, and the typing is Infinity Stone. So it's indestructible. It taps for a black mana. Does not enter tapped, so it is like a 2-mana rock. And then you can pay 6 and a black to tap it, exile a creature you control, and harness the Soul Stone. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield if the Soul Stone is harnessed. So, is it pushed? I know what the consensus, the hyperbolic reaction with every content creator out there with all their YouTube thumbnails. I'm sure the image of them was just like, dude, oh my God, Soul Stone, Infinity Stone is broken. Everyone freaked out, I'm sure, right off the bat. But let's actually I don't know. It's been out for a minute. Is it broken? I'm gonna go ahead and say it's not the most broken thing we've ever seen, and that while yes, it is a reanimation thing, I don't think many people are gonna put their time and effort into spending 7 mana to harness the Soul Stone, and then not only that, we'll pay 7 mana, and then they still have to wait for their upkeep. So you can harness the Soulstone at instant speed. So there is that, but again, a heavy investment, especially let's say you are going to try this out in cEDH. I'm sorry, I just don't think it's going to play out the way you think it does. You'd have to be in a control shell that features black, which those two things don't even really line up with one another. So yeah, I think that this is just fine. You should already be playing exile effects for people's artifacts and enchantments anyway, to get rid of it if you do think it's a problem. And then, yeah, by the time they get to 7 mana and then they harness a Soulstone, and they will have had to set up their graveyard in a very specific way for it to pop off. Plus, to harness a Soulstone, you exile the creature, so you can't even reanimate the thing that you use to harness the Soulstone. So, very flavorful design there. Yeah, I'm not so sure that this is... There are all these like circumstances and hurdles and hoops I think you have to jump through in order to make this, like, to bring out its full potential. So, yeah, while this did come out and people freaked out, I'm still wondering if... Flash, did you see they had like a gold framed artwork for this?
No.
Yeah, so they have like
Although I'm sure there are many artworks for any card that's been created in recent Magic the Gathering history.
Well, this one has at least 3. And the thing is that like the gold frame artwork it looks just like the One Ring. So because it is a Soul Stone, or because it is an Infinity Stone, it hasn't quite been confirmed if there's a 1 of 1. So yeah, let me see. 1 of...
Is there any serialization in this set already?
Like, the thing is like that's with the gold border, or with like the gold laced Soulstone, it doesn't have any reminder text. It's just like the full art, and it doesn't have a serial number on it. AI. AI is trying to solve it for me. Why? Gosh, well, I didn't want AI mode. Why are we in AI mode? Does anyone else hate AI mode on Google? God, it's awful.
I hate it every time it's shoved down my throat in any capacity.
Yeah, I literally just Googled it, and it's like, here, let's have AI figure it out for you. Like, thank you. Not. So, yeah, there's the artwork here up on screen, but it doesn't have a 1 of 1 printed on it. So maybe it's just an incredibly rare version of it. Anyway, we will get all of the Infinity Stones, I'm sure. So, well, now that this is spoiled, you can probably, like, theorize and wonder what the next Marvel sets will be. But yeah, we're getting at least 4 more. At least 4 more Marvel sets of Magic cards. All right. Infinity Stone. We talked about it. Cool. Other things. SpiderMan related. Multiversal Passage. We did talk about it for a second, but as this land enters, you get to choose a basic land type, and then you may pay 2 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. This land is the chosen type. So you can turn it into an island. You can turn it into a swamp. You can have it be whatever basic land you would like, and for it to enter untapped. So it is like color selection. I don't know if it's a Fabled Passage level, because Fabled Passage pulls a card from the deck, and it has a little bit more stipulation onto whether or not it untaps. But this is like a shock land, but with no flexibility. I don't know if it's like super good. It could see some play, maybe. I'm not sure. I think the MDFCs are actually just better. I would rather pay 3 life and then have the modal aspect of casting something on the other side. We do have the Iron Spider Stark upgrade. This is 3 colorless mana for a 2/3 with Vigilance. You get to tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact, creature, and or vehicle you control. So the Overseer is now just completely flexed out. And then you can pay 2 colorless mana to remove 2 +1/+1 counters from among artifacts you control and draw a card. So this, yeah, seems really good, actually. Play this in +1/+1 counter strategies. You play this? Yes. Anybody care to interject? No, it's just a really good card. And then let's see. There is the Naya Miles Morales. We'll see. So it's 2 mana on the front side. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures, and that's on your opponent's or yours. And then you can pay 6 mana in Naya fashion, and then you get a 4/3 with First Strike and Haste. Pay 2 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on the ultimate Spider-Man. It gains hexproof and becomes colorless until end of turn. Whenever you attack, double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. So another +1/+1 counter strategy. Probably plays the Iron Spider in that. But all the artworks are super rad. The comic book, Flash, I'm sure you would love the comic book alternatives that they've put on these cards. They're going to be super sick.
What is have they all been spoiled already?
Yeah, you can jump on and pretty much I think it's supposed to be like a mini set, like not the same size as Aftermath, but a little bit larger than that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure all of the cards have already been spoiled. Yeah, I'm rolling through them right now on YouTube, where you can check us out.
Are there any homages to Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, the Broadway musical with music by Bono of U2?
That is a great question. I don't see a Bono card, so
okay.
I can't quite confirm nor deny. There could be like
there's no like instant called Turn Off the Dark or anything.
Oh gosh. Tough. No, there's not.
Disappointing.
Yeah, that is very disappointing. I didn't even know there was a Spider-Man musical.
I mean, it was famously a failure.
Oh.
Many bad things happened associated with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worth looking up on Wikipedia sometime.
Yeah, Turn Off the Dark.
Although, excellent costume design by a famous Japanese artist.
Excellent.
But everything besides that, dog shit. Worth looking up on your own time.
Okay, the Bono. I'm curious about like you two being involved with like it. Was the music good?
I would say, and I'm saying this as someone who's not a YouTube fan that much.
Yeah.
Maybe some of Bono's worst work.
Some of his worst work. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a huge YouTube fan.
No. I when I say the only redeeming feature of Spider-Man Turn Out the Dark is the costume design, that's what it is.
So something that
everything else is the lower your expectations. Maybe bad in a like so bad it's good, like oh my god kind of way, but genuinely a huge flop on Broadway, and just behind just everything related to it, a disaster.
You know what? I'm surprised they didn't acknowledge it at least with this set. Usually they're pretty like quirky and on the nose about like certain things like that. Maybe if we look deep enough, we can see a reference somewhere. So if you guys are out there and you're paying attention to the SpiderMan set still, you're still excited to get your hands on it, there are 2 cards that I do think are like very playable. We do have SpiderPunk, 1 in a red with Riot for 2, and it's a 2/1. Other spiders you control have Riot. Spells and abilities can't be countered, and then damage can't be prevented. So obviously, I think the line of text that is important is spells and abilities can't be countered. So this could see play in mono red cEDH. For SpiderPunk, it really depends on how much you value the whole spells and abilities can't be countered. For me, personally, when I'm building a deck, I almost always avoid it. Like, it's not an avoidance, but it's one of those things where you end up cutting it from your deck because you're like, well, I would rather do the thing that I'm designing the deck to do rather than just focus on trying to keep people from interacting with me, where it was, it's just like, you just got to shoot your shot. And a lot of cards, like when you play things that say spells and abilities can't be countered, like for that effect, it doesn't actually push you forward. Like, there are just some decks that are just, better than others. We'll talk about that in a second. But like that can afford to like squeeze in Voice of Victory, that can afford to squeeze in Grand Abolisher. And then when the time comes to push for a win, pull those from the graveyard or play them or cast them or whatever. So SpiderPunk, not quite as good as those 2, but if you are limited in colors, I do think that this could be an option to give you a somewhat similar effect. And then, damage can't be prevented is also somewhat relevant. It really depends on like your pod or like someone casts a Teferi's Protection or whatever. It's like, nah, I think your life total is going to change there, pal. SpiderPunk's going to make sure that happens. And then Symbiote SpiderMan, 2 in a hybrid Dimir. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest in the graveyard. And then you can pay 2 in a black or 2 in a hybrid Dimir. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains this card's other abilities. Activate only as a sorcery. So, it has the ability to choose a new host, which I think is powerful. So even in the graveyard, it finds value. Outside of that, we freaked out about the Infinity Stone. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a pretty tame and mild set outside of Toph. And we're moving on. We are going into and returning to EDH Top 16. So if you are interested at all in cEDH, if you haven't tapped this resource yet, this EDH Top 16 is a platform that scrapes data from multiple sources for tournament data, and so this basically compiles all of the top decks, or at least decks that are performing well, and then categorizes them. So you can sort through here. You can sort by popularity. You can sort by conversion rate. You can sort by the time period, minimum entries, and then tournament size. So if you go to just straight sort by conversion rate, you might have been confused by popularity, but the conversion rate, if you go to that, in the last 6 months with minimum entries of 20 entries and a tournament size of 60 plus players, the number 1 deck in all of cEDH in converting to the top 16 is Arkham Dagson. Believe it or not. Arkham Dagson. I can't believe it. Luke Files, Hunter Wade. Champions of the deck. Tyler Lindblad here. This is all from way, way early in the year. I don't think this is still 6 months ago. Now it says 1 year. Oh, God. There's some mix-up here. I didn't even think this was possible. Arkham Dagson is 3 and a blue. Tap it. Target artifact creature's controller sacrifices it. That player may search their library for a non-creature artifact card, put it into play. Oh, okay. So you can like sacrifice an artifact creature and then go pull any artifact from your library onto the battlefield. So you can go for Spine of Ish-Sa, like combo lines. Okay, yeah. I don't quite fully understand the deck, but it is... I understand the tutor a artifact from your library to the battlefield for free effect. So, number one converting deck in all of cEDH. You thought it was going to be Kefka. It's not. It is Arkham Dagson. But, as you can see here on the homepage for EDH Top 16, in regards to popularity, and this is why we don't really talk cEDH all that much anymore, it hasn't changed at all. Blue Farm is still the most popular deck in cEDH. Kinnan is the second most popular deck. Thrasios Tymna, the third most popular. Thrasios Rograk, fourth. Sisay, fifth. Rogsai, sixth. And then we have Magda, Glarb, and the one thing that has changed is that Play to Win has talked about Italy enough to where people are putting it are playing it in mass. So and I've played against the deck. It's really great. Like, it really is good. So it does deserve to be here. It does convert pretty often. It is a really good deck. And then we have Tivit still up here. And as we go down, Yuriko, Malcolmide, Marnius Calgar is here, Hashaton. And how far do we have to go? Not too far. Kefka is here. It is 0.88% of the meta share in the last 6 months. It is honestly, that's pretty high for how long it's been since it came out. It hasn't, like, this is, yeah, it's a great deck. If you are unfamiliar with Kefka, it's 5 mana Grixis fun stuff, but it says when so for 2 and Grixis for a 4/5, whenever Kefka enters or attacks, each player discards a card. Then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. And then you can pay 8 colorless mana. Each opponent sacrifices a permanent of their choice, and then you transform Kefka, activate only as a sorcery. Then Kefka transforms into Kefka, Ruler of Ruin, a Avatar Wizard, 5/7 flying. Whenever an opponent loses life during your turn, draw that many cards. I'm not sure how many people are transforming this. Maybe late game, but it does draw you a ton of cards if you can punch with it. And it doesn't exile, so that, I guess that's one thing, is that you could actually swing in with Kefka. Oh, it only activates as a sorcery. Meh. You can swing in with Kefka, and then second main phase, I guess you could do this. But if you want to do it in your main phase, first main phase, you can flip it, swing, draw 5. But the build for the deck, this was a list that I found that actually ended up winning or getting top 4. This is in the Pacific Northwest by Taylspin. But this was a deck that got top 4, and I figured, like, they gotta know what's going on with this. They gotta, at least have a build that has been working well for them. I will say that the Pacific Northwest, like, team, the players that are involved in the community here are grinders. They go hard in this stuff. So, let's dive right in. Ragavan, best mana dork in these colors. Let's go. And Generator Servant. So this is 1 in a red from Core 15. You can tap it, sacrifice Generator Servant, then add 2 colorless mana. That mana is spent to cast a creature spell. It gains haste until end of turn. This is just the perfect creature for Kefka. And just to be able to give the Titan effect, haste, is invaluable. Like, this represents, not only does it represent mana, it represents so many cards like that you could potentially draw. So I love this. This is genius inclusion. You have Harmonic Prodigy because Kefka is a wizard that this represents so many cards. Just by entering the battlefield, you do get it might as well have been given haste to be able to get the attack trigger, because Harmonic Prodigy is going to allow you to trigger twice. Reckless Barbarian. Love this card. Huge fan of this card right now. It's 1 in a red. You can sacrifice it to add 2 red mana. It doesn't give haste to your creature, but it also doesn't need to tap to create that mana. You can just straight up sacrifice it for 2 red. We have Thassa's Oracle. So this is there are quite a few win conditions here, it seems. But Thassa's Oracle is one of them. Dualcaster Mage, a great way to be interactive on the stack, but also probably a win condition. Can be. If you build into it, then yes, it can be. Because I'm guessing with Kefka, some people out there building it are going to use like Heat Shimmer or Molten Duplication, and Dualcaster Mage can actually end up like presenting a win off of that if you were to include those. Opposition Agent is really great at controlling the table. It's a Mean Spirit Guide. Get that extra mana. Valley Flood Caller. I wonder if they are on the Valley Flood Caller lines. I'm not sure. Displacer Kitten for awesomeness, I'm sure. Oh, Valley Flood Caller is also just really good because you can cast non-creature spells with flash. There. I said it. It's just good for that. Displacer Kitten's awesome. World Gorger Dragon makes an appearance. Kefka allows you to discard, and it allows you to draw a ton of cards. It can probably find your lines quicker than most other decks. So while slowing your opponents down, Kefka's also going to be, picking up cards at a faster clip if that ability's allowed to continue to trigger or trigger multiple times in a single turn. So World Gorger is perfect here, just to be able to pitch it to the grave, pick up a few more cards. Maybe that Animate Dead is in there. That's awesome. I'm glad to see World Gorger Dragon coming back and making an appearance here, because if Kefka's on the battlefield, this is just like, okay, everyone's going to draw or like you're all going to discard your hand, and then I'll draw your entire. You would draw your entire library. Yeah, that's pretty great, and generate infinite mana, and then you just present the Thassa's Oracle. Hullbreaker Horror. We have probably some lines involving that. Probably still generating infinite mana, infinite flickers with Kefka, and that still results in the same thing with Thassa's Oracle. And then Hoarding Broodlord. Redundancy is awesome. I'm sure this results in the same World Gorger Hullbreaker type loop here. Let's see. Saw in Half, is it included? It's probably not good enough. Burnt Offering is here though. So let's see. Yeah, Hoarding Broodlord, just a really good tutor. Can pull plenty of things out of the deck and then help you get to Kefka or get to these lines even quicker. So love to see that. It's sorceries. We have Gamble, Imperial Seal, Reanimate, Rite of Flame. I think when you're in these colors, that Rite of Flame is just kind of like a no-brainer. These rituals have taken the place of things like Jeweled Lotus and just continue to see play. We have Scheming Symmetry. This is kind of one of the first times I've seen this really get played in cEDH. It's been so long. But yeah, Scheming Symmetry allows both players to tutor for a card and put them on top of their library. So for you're going to draw that card. You're going to get that card with a Kefka trigger, right? If they've picked up the card, or I don't know, it's like one of those things where it's like you're going to be without one of the cards in your hand. Maybe I just give you one. It's 1 black mana. Maybe I'm getting to my thing before you. So go ahead and get your card and put it to the top of your library. Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Intent, get rid of, like, send Kefka back to the command zone. Mnemonic Betrayal. Really great card. Doesn't see play all that often anymore, but I'm happy to see it here. It's awesome. Toxic Deluge. Beseech the Mirror, Peer into the Abyss. It's probably for your Hoarding Broodlord. If you guys haven't seen Mnemonic Betrayal or played with it before, it's 1 blue and a black. Exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards. You may cast those cards this turn, and you may spend mana as though were any color to cast those. At the beginning of the next end step, if any of those cards remain exiled, return them to their owner's graveyard. So you can, like with Valley, I've seen some crazy things happen with Mnemonic Betrayal, but like Valley Floodcaller on the battlefield, an instant speed Mnemonic Betrayal is enough to like absolutely ruin that Underworld Breach. It's nuts. It's really, really great. And if someone's setting up, it's like, no, you can straight up just take their graveyard and use their setup for your own advantage. The suite of interaction, the instance for this deck, tons of interaction. Obviously, Pact Negation, Offer You Can't Refuse, Flusterstorm, Mental Misstep, Swan Song, Born Upon a Wind is here. It's not necessarily interaction, but it is a win condition. Into the Flood Maws interaction. Fierce Guardianship, Deflecting Swat, Mana Drain, Force of Negation, Mindbreak Trap, Saw in Half is here, and Force of Will. Final Fortune for extra turns, Essence Flux for flickering, which has been seeing a lot more play with these Titan-like effects with Enter the Battlefield things. Essence Flux is super duper good. Let's see. Any more instants? We do have Ghostly Flicker here. It does allow you to reset things like Mana Vault and Grim Monolith and the like. But Saw in Half, yeah, if you're unfamiliar with the Broodlord line, you can go for a Broodlord, saw it in half, and then get 2 more tutors, and then you can use those 2 Broodlords to tap for 1 for a Burnt Offering, grab that, and go straight into a Peer into the Abyss. So there is that line. Like that is in the bag here. It is in their bag here with this deck. But yeah, Hoarding Broodlord is awesome. You can also just like reanimate it for that effect. So, and it usually wins the game. Picking up half your library usually wins the game. Let's see. Artifacts. We're going down into, Lionside Diamond's great here. Helps you get to Kefka that much sooner. Let's see. Lotus Petal. Because your opponents are still going to be discarding cards. So the odds of them like matching up all of their types, unlikely. You're still going to get probably 2 or 3 cards off of discarding your hand and using the Lionside Diamond to go cast Kefka. Chrome Mox, Lotus Petal, Mox Amber, Mox Diamond, Mox Opal. I wonder if there are enough artifacts. Maybe that's a question you're asking yourself, Taylspin. Cursed Totems here. You're not activating creature abilities. So that answers my question. You are not flipping Kefka ever. Ever, 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 ever. Felwar Stone, Grim Monolith, Talisman of Creativity, and the 3 talismans that fit in the color, and then a Wishclaw Talisman. And then your enchantments, Necromancy, Animate Dead, Dance of the Dead. These are all necessary for your World Gorger, Broodlord, Hullbreaker lines. Let's see. Rhystic Study, Necropotence, Mystic Remora, Underworld Breach, all there as well. So while this deck is still running all of the World Gorger stuff, it is running all of the Hullbreaker stuff. It's running the Broodlord stuff. It is also running all of the Underworld Breach stuff. So yeah, just get nasty with it. How many win conditions, how many lines can you jam into a deck? Well, Kefka's going to help you find them. And the unique pieces to this deck are the ones that help you get to Kefka faster. Generator, Servant, Reckless Barbarian, or help you magnify the ability. Harmonic Prodigy. I think this is a lesson in deck building for cEDH. in good and really depends on the flavor of deck you like to build, in good and bad ways. Because the reason I'm able to comb through this deck so quickly is because it's all of the same stuff in every other Grixis deck. Any other Grixis deck that you would ever play has all of these cards outside of Essence Flux, maybe Saw in Half, Ghostly Flicker, Generator Servant, Reckless Barbarian, Harmonic Prodigy. So what we can say, 6 cards are unique, and then everything else is something that you would play, like something else that would see play in any other Grixis shell. So that is, if you want to turn something like this and convert it into wins, and you want to climb that ladder and grind, this is the unfortunate reality. You're not going to be able to play really flavorful things. But yeah, the artifacts, the enchantments, lands, still very much, they are playing a couple unique lands. They're playing all of the artifact lands, Vault of Whisper, Seed of the Synod, Great Furnace, and then everything else. Mountain Doom. I'm guessing this, as you generate infinite mana with the World Gorger Dragon, allows you to also kill the table. You guys out there listening, you're all awesome. 1, first and foremost, you're all awesome. 2, usually see things that I don't. So, if you see...
I can answer this one. It is definitely a World Gorger outlet.
Thank you.
It is one of the classic World Gorger outlets.
Yes. Yeah. So, but all I'm saying is that if they see something that I don't, they usually get in the comments and chime in. So don't be shy.
Maybe there's another reason it's there.
Yeah, don't be shy. Like be courageous, like Flash, and jump in and let us know what you see. But yes, Mount Doom, awesome World Gorger outlet. And then Sideboard. There's stuff in the Sideboard. Yeah, this looks like, honestly, I like when I saw Kefka first spoiled, I was like, this can be a really fun deck. And to be honest, if you're playing Kefka, if that's what your goal is like jam a Kefka and like have your opponent's discards slow their game plan down, reduce their card advantage, and then to increase yours, you're going to have fun. That's what this deck wants to do, and that's what this deck does efficiently and at a really great clip. So I'm not upset that like there's, it is Grixis good stuff with a few things sprinkled in to like take advantage of Kefka's ability. I think that's why I've generally leaned towards C3DH, or being like building decks that are a little bit more creative, have a little bit more flavor, or cards that need a little bit of a build around. Like I think that's kind of where my head's at lately. But this is still a masterclass in deck building to convert to dubs. Like, for each Magic player out there, you have different intents and purposes. This Magic player, Taylspin here, is converting dubs, and it's obvious. They top forward with this. I'm not sure if they ended up winning or not, but yeah, Kefka, a force to be reckoned with in the future in cEDH? Question mark. I think so. I think that the more that this, like, the more ammunition this gets, the more this could be seen. This is the newest and probably the most powerful discard deck in cEDH that we've ever seen. So pretty exciting stuff. There would be, if I ever got the chance to flip it, I absolutely would. And then I'd punch and draw 5. That's it. Flash, how was that? How was that? Did I do good?
Yes, you did good.
Yay, I did good. All right. Well, we're actually pretty much at our runtime for the show. Any final thoughts on this, Flash?
No, it's always fun to see a new contender in the tournament space. Because, like you were saying at the top, like certain things like Thrasios and Blue Farm and Timna this and all that sort of stuff, like, those top 5 or 6 spots are pretty locked in.
Yeah. Yep. Always. It's just, that's what you're going to see at a table probably most commonly. And yeah, it's great to see someone stir the pot a little bit so we can, have something new and fresh to talk about. Yeah. Well, this has been the MoxStars podcast. I didn't even do all of our plugs and stuff at the top of the show. I was so excited to just do all of our stuff. Obviously, I said this is the #1 podcast for Magic the Gathering and Dr. Pepper, the MoxStars podcast, if you nasty. And didn't even tell you where you could support the show. You can do so by finding us on YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more notifications. You can also find us on all podcasting platforms, where you can leave us a 5-star review to make us look super duper cool. I'm continuing the mustache game, so if you want to see the mustache and its evolution, you can check that out on YouTube. You can also support us on Patreon by becoming an official Pepperhead for $3 a month. You can have your name turned Dr. Pepper Red on the platform, on our Discord server. Join the Discord server, jump in there. I'm going to be building some decks this week, so I will be reaching out and just kind of picking everyone's brain on what I should build next. If you'd like to support, you can. Everyone gets a shout out now that we're only doing the 1 tier. But right now we only have 1 official Pepperhead, and that is UWP Quirt. So make sure that everyone who was supporting before, if you want to continue supporting, you can do so. Jump on there. Just make sure you change your membership over to the cherry, or not the cherry, the standard Pepperhead tier. And a quick shout out to all those who did support us in the past. We did have our cherry vanilla Pepperheads, maybe Anthony, Mono Greg, Jacob Hibbard, Tommy Cypher, K Mr. K, and Will Rule. And then we also had in our 2-liter tier, definitely Jeremy, Poolboy Barry, Aaron, and Aaron Becca, and UWP Court. He was in there too. And then in the MoxStars Hall of Fame, Ravenlift accomplished the 1-year marathon of supporting us in the MoxStars Dr. Pepper Lounge. The 1 of 1 bucket is on its way. And yeah, that's it. This is the MoxStars podcast. We're out of here. Peace. See you next week.
Bye.